All right, hello, and welcome to the very first Football in High Heels Olympic broadcast. I'm Sammy from Football in High Heels, and with me I have Katrina, gymnastics enthusiast and expert. Welcome.
Thanks.
So we had two great nights of Olympic trials with gymnastics for the women. Tell me a little bit about your opinion on it.
Oh, this is my seventh time going through trials. Um, so, and having gone through both pre-MARTA and post-MARTA, it's very interesting to see the different process and how quickly it's changed and how quickly it's become an announced event. And so, having watched this quad for a lot more in depth than kind of most of the general public, I kind of knew going in who the team would probably be. I was more interested in who the alternates were just because of things that had happened after Worlds last year. So, I mean, I was more interested in the alternates than I kind of was in the team because I kind of knew.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious what it was going to be, but I have to admit, I was a little bit worried about Gabby Douglas because she seemed like she was a little stressed out, and I understand she fired her coach or got rid of her coach right before the trials began. So I was wondering if that was going to hinder her performance. And she did come in seventh. Was it seventh overall that she came in? So I was a little
Yeah.
worried about her.
Yeah, so she ended up, and see, this is kind of the drama that's been going on since that news broke, that what they're spinning as her decision is really kind of a BS decision because according to IOC rules, you can have two accredited coaches on the floor during the trials process. And Kidia Carpenter, who is the head of Buckeye Gymnastics where Gabby trains, has been on the floor with her since she moved to Buckeye. So, and Christian's been there too. So it's kind of a weird situation and whatnot. So yeah, I was a little worried, and she's been stressed out since probably the classics back in, what was that, April or May. So yeah, I was a little worried, but it's Gabby. This is Gabby, how Gabby works. She works much better. Um, Last year before Worlds, she was not looking like she'd make the team for Worlds. And then she went to the ranch, and Marta whipped her into shape, and she won silver at Worlds. So I'm not really worried. She's going to the ranch for 9 days. Marta will whip her into shape, and the ranch is really secluded. Like, they barely get cell service at the ranch. So she won't have any distractions, which I think will be a good thing.
That's good. And what is the ranch? You keep mentioning this ranch, but I've personally never heard of it. Like I said, I'm fairly new to the sport. So can you explain what that is?
Sure. The ranch is Marta and Bella Caroli's home, as well as the National Training Center. It's located in, for Pete's sakes, I know the name of the place, in the middle of Texas. And it's part of the Sam Houston National Forest, actually. So it's in literally the middle of nowhere in Texas. And it's a training center for the national team that was created after the 2000 Olympics. And the girls go there about once a month and assess where they are. And then usually before big competitions, they'll go there, and that's where the team is fully named, with the exception of the Olympics. But it's basically, and they have, gymnastics camps there, year round as well. So like little kids come there. They have the training programs for the build into the elite level go there. There's also lots of animals. So like there's camels and there's peacocks and there's goats and what else? There's lots of crazy things going on with the ranch. But it's basically the National Training Center in Texas.
Okay, that makes sense. That's what I figured it was, but I'm glad you explained it. But yeah, other than Gabby, let's talk about the other girls that are on the team. We have Allie as well, who is interesting. We discussed her when she was on Dancing with the Stars a couple years ago. What's your opinion on her?
I love Allie in the fact that she doesn't give a crap about what anybody else thinks, and she has legs of steel.
Yeah,
She has legs that are known as what's called Brechtian legs, and that's the gym she trained at is Brechtians. And it's because they do these calisthenics with their legs. It's just kind of insane. She can land like the worst Aminar ever and still be fine and walk away from it because her legs are so incredibly strong. However, I have issues with her form. So that's my issue with her. She's cleaned up a lot. She's gotten so much better, but I love her fierceness and the fact that she doesn't care and she's just going to go do gymnastics. And even though she's, 22 and considered old, she's going to say, I don't care. We're going to go do gymnastics.
Yeah, I love that about her. She's just, in that sense, I think she's a great role model for our young girls because a lot of young girls are too afraid of what other people are going to think and too afraid to go for it. And I really think she's showing these girls you can do whatever you want, no matter what your age and no matter what everybody says, and you don't have to care what other people think. And I think in that sense, she's a great role model for these girls. And yes, I said the same thing about her form, but I think when she was working with Mark on Dancing with the Stars, I think it actually helped her. And she looked so much better this time around, I think.
Yeah.
Steve, my dog, agrees too. So who else do we have on the team?
We have probably the most, I don't even know how to describe her, but Simone Biles.
I love her.
She literally came out, I mean, not literally, but 2012 wasn't even and granted she was a junior in 2012, but literally 2013 kind of just came out of nowhere, rocked nationals, went on to win worlds. She's won the last 3 worlds all around. And literally, if you go follow her coach on Twitter, her coach has posted some videos of her doing some crazy, crazy stuff that granted we'll never see because it's insanely difficult. But it's kind of awesome to see. She can do a standing double back somersault from just a standing position. It's crazy how much power she can get.
She is incredible. She came out of nowhere, too, like you said. And it was just absolutely amazing. I saw her the past 2 nights that I did it. I'm like, oh my, who is this girl? Where'd she come from? But she's amazing. And we've been talking about her before the trials even began. And we said from the beginning, there's no way she's not making the team. And I know that put a lot of pressure on her because everyone was talking about that and saying there's no way she won't make it. But I think she did absolutely amazing. And she's so young, too. So I think that it even makes her even more amazing. And right now, I'm putting my bet in right now. She's going to be the one from the team chosen to do Dancing with the Stars this season.
Although I have to say, it's going to be either her or Lori. It depends on how well Lori. But Lori, I think they'll want Lori.
I love Lori. She's amazing. I said in my tweet last night that she reminds me of Judy Reyes from Scrubs. Something about her personality or her, I don't know what it is about her. She just reminds me of her so much. And it's just like watching her as a gymnast. She did a lot of great routines. I absolutely loved her vault routine.
Yeah, her bars, if you watch her bars when she does her Tkachev release, her counter rotation of her hips is just, no one else gets that counter rotation. And it's just insane how much height and how much rotation she gets.
How does she do that? It was like, I was looking at her, I'm like, how do you do that? It's like, it's not even humanly possible.
Yeah,
but except for her, obviously.
It's not even funny. I would I love her hips. They're so flexible.
I know.
If you're not, you're talking about Lori Hernandez from MG Elite in New Jersey, who is a first-year senior, 16 years old, and made her first Olympic team. And she's a little spitfire. Her nickname on the gym internet is Baby Shakira. So
yeah, I can see why. Those hips don't lie.
No, we kind of get mad at Al Troutwig, who does NBC commentating, for making some really disgusting comments about her, but she can dance, and she is just sass, and her Twitter and her Facebook and Snapchats are just really funny, and they're awesome.
Yes. And who do we have rounding out the team?
We have Madison Koshin, who comes out of the Woga gym in Plano, Texas, which is the same gym that Carly Patterson, Nastia Liukin, and a whole bunch of other awesome gymnasts. Now, she's not coached by either Carly's coach or Valerie Liukin. She's coached by Laurent Laurandi, who is a former French gymnast, and his wife, I believe it's his wife. He coaches at Plano or at Woga, and so she's the 5th member of the team.
She was really good too, and like I said, this is really my first time following gymnastics this intensely for this job, and she seemed to come out of nowhere. But it seemed like Carr and Ashton Locklear, it seemed like everyone was watching them as well, and she was definitely one to watch. And I think she's going to really do well because there's something about her that's just so amazing, and she makes you pay attention to her.
Well, she was on last year's World's team, and she won the 2015 World Championships. She won the bars event final with 3 other girls, which is the first time that's ever happened, which was kind of crazy. But she definitely, you can tell she has what we call Woga lines, very long, lean, great pointed toes. So yeah, you can tell she's from Woga. But yeah, Maddie, I think she's going to be kind of that. She's just there, and she knows what exactly she needs to do, and she's very businesslike, and she's going to be that one person that kind of keeps everybody focused in terms of let's get down to business kind of thing.
And I can't choose which one of them I want to win the gold because they're all so amazing. And now we kind of discussed this last night when we were planning the broadcast, but if you could explain it a little bit to our viewers, how is it determined? Because I know in swimming, like Michael Phelps and Ryan Loach were chosen for different things, and so did the girls on track and field, the 100-meter, whatever. How is it chosen for the gymnastics team? Is everyone competing in everything, or are they just competing in bars or vault? How does that work?
So there's a 5-member team, and in the qualifications, it's 4 athletes compete on every event. Well, I take that back. 4 athletes compete, 3 scores count. So it's 4 up, 3 count. Then in team finals, which you have to place in the top 12 teams to make team finals, if you have full teams, it's 3 up, 3 count. So all scores count.
Okay.
Now, with this team, not everybody will do the all-around in qualifications. What you're trying to do is you're trying to not only qualify as a team, but you're trying to qualify for the all-around, which is top 36 gymnasts, 2 per country.
Okay.
And then qualify for event finals, which is top 8, 2 per country.
Okay, so they're on the team, but they're not going to necessarily compete.
They're going to compete for the most part, for the all-around spots. And what makes sense, what happens is you'll have, and this happened in 2012, you had 3 people competing the all-around, but only 2 make it because of the 2 per country rule. And that's why Jordan Weber in 2012, NBC kept filming her crying because she didn't make the all-around finals.
Gotcha, that makes sense, because I was confused about how that was going to work. But now that makes more sense. And who do you think is going to make it for the USA?
It kind of depends on how Gabby does at camp, or at the ranch in the next 9 days. She's going to be battling Lori Hernandez for the all-around spot. I have a feeling, just because of some internal stuff that I don't really want to say because of where I get it. I have a feeling that Lori will not be competing all around.
Okay.
So here's what I'm thinking for team final, or for team qualifications. So this is 4 up, 4 count. For vault, it will be Lori, Gabby, Allie, Simone. And then for bars, it'll be Simone, Allie, Gabby, and Maddie. Beam will be Gabby, Lori, Allie, Simone. And then floor will be Lori, Gabby, Allie, Simone. And therefore, Gabby, Allie, and Simone have to fight it out for who gets the 2 all-around spots. One of those will automatically go to Simone, just
Of
because
course.
of her start scores are ridiculous. And then basically Abby, I keep calling them Abby, Allie and Gabby will be fighting probably over that third spot. It just kind of depends, though, on how Gabby does at camp.
Yeah, it's going to really depend.
Yeah. So we'll
But I
see.
have no doubt it's Simone's. It's definitely Simone's has it. She's amazing, and she's going to be the America's sweetheart. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting just because those of us in the gymnastics community have watched her for the last 4 or 5 years, and we're like, oh, Simone, just doing Simone things. And, it's funny because there's been times where she pushes back with Marta, and it's been fun to see. Like, there's stories of her telling Marta, instead of doing like 35 rope climbs, she did 10. And when Marta asked her why she wasn't doing any more, Simone just goes, I'm tired. And it's just really adorable.
And how old is she? You said she was pretty young too, right?
I think she's 19.
Okay, yes.
Double check on that, but I believe she's 19.
So Maddie's the
18.
youngest. Or is Lori the youngest?
Lori's the youngest.
Lori's the youngest, okay. And then Gabby's the
Yeah.
oldest, right? No. Is Gabby the oldest?
No, Allie's the oldest.
Allie's the oldest, okay. I always confuse their ages because they're all so close in age.
Well,
Now,
here's what's funny.
What?
There's a 40-year-old competing. This will be Oksana Chusovitina's 7th Olympics.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Competed for the unified team, Uzbekistan, Germany, and Uzbekistan.
Wow, way to go.
Yeah, she's kind of been saying, and granted it's her career, but yeah, she's doing one of the hardest vaults in the entire world. She's insane.
I gotta see that. I can't wait to see how that plays out. But didn't we have a bunch of years back some girl that competed while she was pregnant? Was that the Worlds or was that the Olympics?
So it's never been confirmed, but the person who holds the highest number of Worlds and Olympic medals is a former Soviet gymnast who supposedly competed at Worlds, I believe Worlds, 4 months pregnant.
Oh, wow. That's scary.
Yeah. There's allegations in Soviet gymnastics, they would actually get the girls pregnant to create byproducts in their blood to help them compete.
That's weird, but okay.
Yeah, it's Soviet gymnastics and communist gymnastics have done a lot of weird things. Like, so many historical gymnastics. If you go watch the 1992 games, there's a North Korean gymnast who ended up being disqualified because of her age. And if you look at it now, you can tell, but she was amazing, and she won the Olympic medal, but they ended up disqualifying her because of her age. Yeah.
Now let's go to the alternates. We had so many amazing girls. It's so sad we only had to pick 5, but we have, of course, Michaela Skinner. And now that's the same Michaela that competed in 2012, right?
No, that's Michaela Maroney.
Oh, okay. They spelled their first names the same way, and I was really confused. I'm like, it doesn't look like her. She looks a little different, but okay.
Yeah. And then we have Ashton Locklear. And then finally, little Reagan Smith, who literally can walk underneath the low bar. She is adorable.
I love her. I was so sad she didn't make it. I really, really wanted her to compete.
Yeah, I understand why, though. She's only 16. I don't think actually she turned 16 in November, I believe. She's only 15, but she'll turn 16 this year. Yeah. So I understand. And she's going to Oklahoma next year. No, she's signed to Oklahoma. I think she's the class of 2018, I believe. I have to go back and look at that. But yeah, she's going to Oklahoma, which will be absolutely gorgeous. And I'm hoping she'll stick around for 2020 just to be an event specialist, because she has a really amazing dismount on beam that actually Marta told her to take out, but she can hit it, and it's one of the hardest beam dismounts being done. And so, yeah, I'm hoping she sticks around for 2020.
I do too. I think if she makes it to 2020, she's going to be just as amazing, if not more amazing, than she was during the trials. But like you said, she is very young, and I think it's almost a blessing that she didn't make it in a way, even though I really wanted her. Because competing that young, that's so much pressure for her. I mean, I know it's her life, but that's so much pressure, and she needs to, compete and have her gymnastics career, but she also needs time to be a kid. And I think 15 is way too young to be competing.
Yeah, I think she has a, because of who her coach is, I think is a little different and allows her to be able to talk about that pressure. For those of you who don't know, her coach is the former world champion, or I guess I shouldn't say former, she was a world champion, Kim Zemesco-Bardet, who coaches in Texas. And just being able to have Kim as her coach allows her, I think, a little bit different perspective than a lot of other coaches, because Kim has been through this process more than once.
Right.
So, yeah, I think she's going to do, it'll be interesting to see I think she'll stick around for at least next year's Worlds. And then it'll be interesting to see what she does.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious because she's got a lot in her. She's a little spitfire, and she's so tiny and adorable. My one friend and I were talking about her last night too. And we're like, she reminds us of a female baby Apollo Ono with all that energy and all that happy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, probably not the best comparison, but as the closest one I can come up with of the Olympians that I know of. But I'm definitely curious. Now, explain to me how does an alternate come into play?
So an alternate comes into play if an athlete is injured before. Now, I'm not quite sure on the rules, and they've changed. If an athlete is injured before the competition starts, they can be replaced. That happened in 2000. Morgan White broke her toe, and the US OC basically shipped her out. She was already in Australia and shipped her out, and they brought in the replacement athlete. So, and I'm not sure what happens if they're injured at team qualifications, if they can be replaced then. I don't believe so, but I would have to check on that.
Okay. Now, do they go to Rio with the team, or are they just like called if someone say one of the girls gets hurt right beforehand? Do they go call one? Say they call Reagan and be like, "Oh, you're wanted now," and fly her out? How does that work?
Because of Brazil not having the number of clubs that, say, the US or England has, the replacement, I keep calling them alternates because that's what I've known, but the replacement athletes will travel to Rio with the rest of the team. This differs from 2012 when they actually were training in Birmingham, England, rather than London.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Now I'm a little more clear on that. So, and what do you think is going to happen? Do you think with the future of our alternates or our replacements, do you think they're going to go on and try and compete in 2020?
So Skinner is headed to University of Utah next year. She will be at Red Rock and will compete in NCAA. As I said, Reagan is committed to Oklahoma and will compete there. And Ashton has said that she doesn't want to do school. So my guess is she will stick around and head for 2020 as an event specialist, because she can only do bars and beam. And the way 2020 Olympics in Tokyo will work is that it's 4 athletes for the team, and then 2 additional spots that can be earned at different competitions. And there's some fudginess of whether those spots are non-nominative, which means the country can nominate for that spot, or if they're nominative, which means whoever earns that spot gets that spot. So if she went to a World Cup or two and say qualified as an event specialist, she could, in theory, go to Tokyo as an event specialist.
Now, what is an event specialist?
So event specialist is somebody who focuses on one or two events. Say, like, technically, Michaela Maroney was considered an event specialist for 2012. Although she was an all-around gymnast, she was competing all 4 events, at least floor, until she got a concussion at nationals. There's actually a really scary video of her getting the concussion. I really don't recommend it if that freaks you out. She was only taken for the team for her vault scores. So because Ashton can only compete because of her back, bars and beam, she's a bars and beam event specialist.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I understand that now because you kept saying event specialist, and in my world that means something completely different. That's when the job I have where I host events, that's called an event specialist. I was like, how is that even going to work in the gymnastics world? But thank you for explaining that. I'm learning a lot from you.
You'll see that quite frequently with countries who have 1 or 2 athletes. They'll bring those athletes specifically for certain events. North Korea is bringing their athlete specifically for vault. There are other countries bringing athletes specifically for floor, specifically for beam, or bars. The bars final for the Olympics is going to be absolutely insane if people qualify how they should qualify. It's just going to be crazy, crazy tricks, crazy, crazy lines, and amazing, and it's going to be awesome. And just hoping everybody who should be in that final hits on qualification day so we can get those awesome routines out there.
And when is qualification day?
I knew you were going to ask this.
We've been friends too long.
Well, I'm also running on 4 hours of sleep because we got 80-mile-an-hour winds here last night, and so it was, we had horrible weather.
Oh, poor thing.
Yeah, so it was 80-mile-an-hour winds, lightning, and thunder. It was great. It was lovely. Qualifications. Let me grab my phone because I know opening ceremonies are the 5th.
Yeah, my brother's wedding day, so.
Really? Oh, that sucks.
That's how I remember it. I'm like, oh, my brother's getting married on opening day. But I'm thrilled he's getting married. He's marrying a wonderful, wonderful young lady, and I can't wait to see him spend the rest of their lives together and be there as a bridesmaid and celebrate with them.
That's cool. Okay. Let's see if I can find a schedule.
Now, do the qualification day happen after or before the opening ceremonies?
They're after opening ceremonies, and so you rarely see gymnasts walk. However, this year, and we'll have to talk about Romania because Romania is so sad. For the first time in 40 years, Romania did not qualify a full team.
Why?
A lot of drama, a lot of internal issues within the Romanian Gymnastics Federation, basically pushing girls out and not really bolstering their juniors. Like they had a lot of promising juniors, and then just never gave them the support, and so they didn't qualify. You have to qualify at the previous World Championships in the top 8 to make it to Rio. And those who don't, after that, the next 4 or so, I forgot how many it is, have to go to the test event, which is usually held at the arena. The top 4 there qualify a full team to round out teams of 12.
Oh, wow.
Field of 12. And so Romania did not qualify. So they will have 1 athlete, and it's a 3-time Olympian, and then who's also won a gold medal on beam. She got chosen to carry Romania's flag in the opening ceremonies.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm wondering how that's going to work out because I think it's 48 hours between opening ceremonies and the start of qualifications and when they compete. So let me see if I can find it. Okay. Okay, so qualifications for the women is they start the 6th of August, and the first subdivision is Belgium and China in terms of team, and then a bunch of mixed groups, which mixed groups are those individual athletes that qualified by either they're winning their country's spot or they won a medal on an individual event at the last year's World Championships.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so those people who won a medal, and I think it's only first, I could be wrong on that, but won a medal at the 2015 World Championships get a spot. So there's a whole bunch of mixed groups that compete. Subdivision 2 is Russia and Italy, which will be very interesting because that's kind of fairly early. So it'll be interesting to see what Russia's team is like. And yeah, there's lots of drama with Russian teams, of course. It's kind of a NBC theme, but just the people who control the Russian Federation like to cause drama. So it'll be interesting. Their team is still hasn't been officially announced. They're still waiting, probably until I think they have by the 28th. I think they have to have their team in by the 28th, finalized. So U.S. doesn't compete until Subdivision 4.
Okay.
With the Netherlands, which will be awesome because if you guys go watch the Netherlands, especially their floor, go watch them walk out there when they were announced as a team at the 2015 Worlds. Just go watch their choreography because it's out of this world. They are the most artistic gymnasts you will ever see. And
I gotta check that out again. That was amazing.
Netherlands, because you will be blown out of the water. One of their girls does like 15,000 spins on beam, and it's just amazing. And they have a girl who is of Icelandic descent, but she is just phenomenally graceful, and I love her floor. So I'm super excited that they're competing with the Netherlands. And then finally, subdivision is 5 is Japan, France, and Canada. Pretty much. So then the women compete. That's basically the 6th/7th, and then they have a day off, and then team finals. Then they have a day off, and then they have all around. Then they have a day off, and then it's event finals. So basically, they alternate with the men.
Okay. And we have a great men's team too, but we have to discuss that in another broadcast. Are you up for doing these weekly broadcasts? That way we can keep discussing it. We can do it.
My strong point. I mean, yeah, men's is, especially this year. I just don't watch men's gymnastics that much.
I'm gonna be really honest and blunt because you know me so long. I watch for their little tushies and how good they look. I don't pay attention to any of the moves they're doing. I'm just like, you knew I was gonna say that.
Yes, and it's true. I mean, it's especially funny because
I mean, the girls can do all the spins and stuff, but I'm like, oh, he looks really hot in those tight pants.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So what do we judge on with that?
Yeah, it's the men's team is really funny.
Yeah.
I just really hope they have a dance. They have a camera trained on Sam McCulloch because he likes to dance when he gets super relaxed, and he's really funny.
Yeah. And they're really hot this year, so that really makes it that much better to watch. So I'm really excited about that. So we are about out of time, but definitely I want to do this at least once a week, maybe leading up to the Olympics, and then once they start competing, we can discuss it a little more. Are you up for that?
Sure.
Great, because we can discuss, what we look for in vaulting, with beam, with floor, with bars, and we can discuss the evolution of gymnastics. Because I noticed all these girls are really healthy looking, whereas back in the 80s and 90s they were tiny and skinny, but now they're look beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, but they're much healthier looking. And I definitely want your input on that in a future broadcast.
Sure.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Katrina. As always, it's fun, and I always love talking to you about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Sammy. This has been a Football and High Heels broadcast, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.